Suzanne, it's so good to see you.
And you, how are you today?
I'm doing very well. How have you been after the last 4 days since we last met?
Oh my gosh. Whirlwind. My body's made me sleep, which has been amazing. First of all, I thought there might be some side effect of sleep. And then so I went back to your information. There's no side effects. And I was like, oh, it's my body. I think I've been in fight or flight mode for that long. I have this thing, and I never, some people nod off during a conversation if they're tired or if they're watching TV or something, they'll zone out. And me, never. I could have been up 72 hours and I'm still, even if I'm tired, I will not nod off. And I think my body is programmed to stay awake. And last night, my cousin had to wake me up 4 times because mid conversation, it was no reflection on his conversation. I'd gone. And most people might be embarrassed, but for me, I was absolutely elated for the first time in my life that I was nodding off during somebody's conversation.
Did you sleep through the night?
So this is another thing. I'm a lady of an age that's hitting perimenopause, and recently I've been struggling with sleep. So about every 3 hours for the past 6 months, I've been waking up 12 o'clock, 3 a.m., 6 o'clock, and so on. So I've had like really broken sleep. And when I wake up, I kept saying it's being tired but wired. So I'm tired, I want to sleep, but I'm, wired. Whereas the last couple of nights I have slept the whole night through. My cousins had to chuck a blanket over me because I've fallen asleep fully clothed or what have you. And I've literally said the best way I could describe it is like sleeping in a cocoon where somebody has hugged me all night without oversharing. I'd got to a point a few months ago where I was feeling quite lonely and I kept saying, I would just want some physical touch. I'd realized nobody had physically touched me for a long time. And this sleep has almost given me that feeling, if that makes sense. I feel like I've had that physical touch that I've not actually had. I've also had a couple of challenging conversations with family members recently, one with my brother, one with my mother, and they've both said that I'm talking with such clarity, it's confused them. Apparently, my brother, who's not a talker, has gone to his wife, who's a psychologist, and for the first time in their marriage, so that's like 15 years, he had to go and ask her advice on the message that I'd sent. So clear. And these are people that have known me for the last 39 years who are used to seeing me a certain way, and it's really hard to see me in a new way. I'm talking with a lot more.
Do you see it, or is it being related to you by family members and friends?
Both just feel very different in myself. Like those conversations I've had with my family members would normally be very triggering, emotional, but I've not felt like that. I've felt like I'm coming from a place of complete peace and calmness. Like I know what my objective is and how I need to get there and feel very peaceful.
They may have asked you something or made a statement that might have triggered you normally.
I just kept coming back to my original point, but I was able to extend that calmness to the other person as well. I'm being intentional and fully absorbed in the task at hand. And I think sometimes, and just being more present in the moment, yeah, and organized, very organized. Sometimes gone off down on a rabbit hole. I think like I'm going to organize my files. I'm going to even just when we went to the shop the other day, I said, oh, I forgot my shopping list. And my cousin said, no, you've not. So I said, no, that's my list of what we've got to do today. So I'd even planned where we were going, what time we were going.
Have you also find yourself organizing your desk and putting things in their place?
I can show you my lovely desk. My mantra this week's been tidy house, tidy mind. If we just keep that tidy.
So I
Um,
gather your mood has been improved.
It's ridiculous. I feel like I said, Neo in the Matrix, where so you've got the blue pill and the red pill. I feel like you slipped me the blue pill. My ankle started to swell up a lot, and I was in a lot of pain this morning. So I put some of the topical gel on, and I think it took a slight bit longer, but they were very, very swollen. But within, I'd say between 2 and 5 minutes, the swelling was actually reducing down. range of movement, and I was up on my feet and walking. Whereas before that, I'd been hobbling all morning, and I'd had pins and needles, numbness, and that had all gone. A couple of weeks ago, I had a really bad flare up with my autoimmune condition, and I get pustules. And this time it was a really bad one. And I had all these open sort of, I suppose it would look a bit like acne
Uh-huh.
to some people. I almost get like what sort of cysts under the skin. I'd been on antibiotics for 2 weeks before you'd sent the treatment. Nothing had touched it. It was getting worse. Within the first 24 hours of one pea-sized amount, using it
Of the
as a
gel.
almost, yeah, almost as a face cream, if you like. And then I used the excess for my neck. The next morning, I'd woken up and all the redness had gone, all the irritation had gone, and I could feel all the swelling under my skin had reduced. So we're what, 72 hours just over in now.
Yeah.
It's nearly completely healed up. All of the cysts under the skin have gone. And the only thing I'd noticed is maybe a top layer of skin just dries and in the morning it flakes off. It just comes off on its own when I've washed my face the next morning. And underneath is just beautifully healed skin. What I have been doing is using the pea-sized amount on my really painful areas like my neck or my lower back. And then I've used the excess, almost like a face cream, because there's usually a little bit that gets in places, so I'm trying to get it on. It's liquid
You,
gold,
you
so
you regard it as gold, liquid gold. Yeah.
yeah. And there's even sometimes just a tiny bit that stays on the end of the nozzle that you can literally apply to a real problem area. But this is something that the hospital hasn't been able to help me with. Rheumatologists haven't been able to help me with. I can assure you, I just don't know anything like it. I really don't. And for the skin to heal as well, but not just for the skin to heal, for the actual cysts under the skin to go down in that amount of time is just incredible. I've got antiphospholid syndrome, which is Hughes disease, sticky blood. But they were saying that it's inactive. Now, I don't think it's inactive because I'm getting symptoms from other things.
How's your pain?
Incredible. Not the pain, but the lack of. I know it's not 100% in 72 hours eradicated everything, but what it's done is it's given me a complete range of motion. I'm happier in myself. It's like a fog's lifted, but the instant pain relief, especially with the topical gel and the drops, I just can't believe how instant it is. So it usually takes me 1 to 2 hours in the morning to get from when I get up, I'm very stiff, I'm hunched over, my feet, my ankles aren't moving properly. I'm over the next couple of hours, everything starts to loosen up.
Uh-huh.
Whereas now I get up, I have my wash, sit and put my gel on, have my fatty treat, get my I'll take the gel, the capsule, and then I don't even realize, but within minutes, my range of movement, and I'm just sort of, yeah, without even having to think, I'm just doing it. And then he's like, "Have you noticed something?" I'm like, "Well, I'll tell you what I did do, which I haven't been able to do since I was at least in my 20s because it's something the hospital get you to do is to bend over and touch your toes. I usually can't get much past my knees, like it's sort of halfway between my knees and my ankles. I touched my toes yesterday.
Have you done
Yeah,
any exercise?
I know I've been walking more. I know I've been more active. I know I've been more alert, focused, and up for longer. So I'm hoping over the next days and weeks that will then. But I feel like I could go for a run. Never mind a walk. I do.
Have you noticed any changes in your appetite?
I am eating a lot better and more regularly. I'm actually sat here, which my family wouldn't believe it, with nuts that I'm grazing on and things because I have noticed an increase in empathy. I'd say when I'm low in mood or when I'm not very well, the first thing I stop is food. The fact that I've been grazing and picking for me is noticeable in a good way. I know I'm not craving chocolate or, I went shopping yesterday and I came home with lots of fruit, vegetables, healthy things. It wasn't like I went intentionally for that. That's just what I came home with. So,
So you skip the ice cream.
but I think because I've cut out sugar as well, I'm being quite conscious. I'd had a little bit of chocolate and things snacking with my cousin here, and I noticed immediately I got headaches. I know when I'm not particularly well, I do crave sugar. Woken up a little bit later or what have you, and I know I've had a call to go on. I've used the drops just before because I find it really. I haven't done today because I'd already had them earlier on. But yeah, that's how I'd used them a couple of times, and they really, my concentration, everything. I'm just, yeah.
You get fluid in your speech, you get your ideas flow, your consciousness flow. You become
Hmm.
very social and interactive. You get a lot of expression, and there's a lot of emotive voice regulation, intonations that come into your voice. These are all pretty much characteristic of the effects of beta-caryophyllene on the body and on the neurologic system as well.
I was a little bit skeptical because, as I said, I've had people not like yourself, but try this, try that, or if you just juice and don't eat for 12 weeks, you'll reboot your system. Or I have tried everything, and yeah, I just can't believe it.
Have you discontinued any regular drugs or things that you usually take and you haven't had the needs for them?
I've had to continue with my pain relief, but that has reduced. I actually ran out of my prescription, which normally, when I get down to sort of my last strip, I would be, I need to ring the pharmacy and get them. Ideally, as you're aware, I'm on some treatments, and if I can get off those treatments and onto this full time, that's my goal. I will literally be singing this from the rooftops. For me, it's not just the pain relief; it's how it's improved my mood. Like I'm not sure that whatever you've put in that gel when I put it on is instantly giving me a smile on my face, but whatever it's doing, it's the whole approach because everything's working, not just one thing. I think that's where the smile's coming from, unless you've put a smile in a bottle. I genuinely, when I used to catch myself in a mirror and I'd look away because I didn't, you don't want to see what's looking back. I smile at myself now. I'm smiling. That's the effect that it's having. Now, I think people in with pain, I think you get to a point where you're just so desperate that you will do anything or try anything, but you get to the point where you are very skeptical. And I think with your treatment, it just speaks for itself. I haven't had to do anything other than put it on. I've not had to stop anything. I could continue my treatment and not have to worry about stopping that. But now I can see that I might not need my treatment for much longer. Yeah, anybody that is in any kind of, it's not just the chronic pain. I think for me is the mood as well, the
Mhm.
everything. It's that bit that I think sometimes is a vicious cycle with my pain. So if I'm in pain, so I get down, and then because I'm down, that increases my pain, and it's just.
It is a vicious cycle, and our
Mhm.
mood has a great deal to do with that. Our behavior has a lot to do with our pain cycles as well. It's a
Yeah.
complex interaction that BCP seems to correct for at least part of all of these things. And so you have an enhanced mood, you have enhanced flexibility, you have enhanced mobility, and you have reduced pain, and all that works together, as
Mm.
well as anti-inflammatory. One of the things that I encounter a lot is people become impassioned with some concept or some project that they're involved with. Has that been the situation for you over the last 3 days?
Yeah, I have been writing a memoir, which led to I was feeling a bit of burnout and I was a little bit tired last week and I couldn't quite see where I was going with it. I'd taken your products, and after one day, I had written a whole new paper. And I think I joked with you at the end and said, "Oh, I bet I've written a new paper by the by the next time I speak to you," and I had. So I think that's why Professor Attell was saying to me, "Just focus." So yeah, it's given me that much energy that I was like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm going again. So yeah, it's definitely given me passion, focus, and especially
Enthusiasm, energy.
exactly. And now I'm trying to plan, okay, where can I go with that and what can I do with that? And can't take too much of this, can you?
No, you can't. There's
Okay. Yeah, like I say, I noticed for the first couple of days my body was making me sleep, but I feel like that's slowed down now. I'm not getting that, but I think that was because my system was just so in overdrive. The sleep quality has been amazing. I think that in itself, I wake up and I'm like, morning.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. This has been
No,
really
thank
informative.
you.
And I'm so pleased that you had this response. It's so exciting to hear this kind of positive response that people have and that you're having as well. And it's transforming your life.
That's it. And if this is it after 3 days, 4 days, I can't wait to see what I'm like after 3 months.